Namaskar, a warm welcome to World News and Indian Perspective on Akashvani. This is Abhijit Loreng bringing glimpses of the major developments of the day from across the globe. Over the next half an hour, we shall bring to you the latest from the world of politics, economy, sports, entertainment and more. The headlines. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi launches development projects worth over 5,000 crore rupees in Rajasthan. Pakistani court indicts former Prime Minister Imran Khan in Toshakhana corruption case, also grants his 8-day physical remand to the National Accountability Bureau in Al-Qadir Trust case. New Delhi planning to undertake another evacuation flight in the near future for stranded Indians in conflict-hit Sudan region. ASEAN leaders call for immediate end to all forms of violence and use of force in Myanmar. Deep depression forms over southeast Bay of Bengal, likely to intensify into a severe cyclonic storm by Thursday morning. And at World Boxing Championships, Indian boxers Deepak Bhoria, Mohammad Husamuddin and Nishan Dev enter semi-finals in Tashkent in short of 3 medals for the first time ever. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi laid the foundation stone and inaugurated development projects worth over 5,000 crore rupees at Nathdwara in Rajasthan on Wednesday. These include 4 national highways and 3 rail projects. The Prime Minister laid the foundation stone for redevelopment of Udaipur railway station and Gorge conversion project. Mr. Modi dedicated 3 national highway projects to the nation, including the 114-kilometre-long 6-lane Udaipur to Shamlaji section of the NH48, 110-kilometre-long widening and strengthening of Bellara Jodhpur section of NH25 and 2-lane with paved shoulder section of NH58E. Addressing the program, Mr. Modi said that these projects will take connectivity of Rajasthan to new heights.
भारत सरकार राज्य के विकास से देश के विकास के मंत्र पर विश्वास करती है। राजस्थान देश के सबसे बड़े राज्यों में से एक है। राजस्थान भारत के शौर्य, भारत की धरोहर, भारत की संस्कृति का वाहक है। राजस्थान जितना विकसित होगा, उतना ही भारत के विकास को भी गति मिलेगी और इसलिए हमारी सरकार राजस्थान में आधुनिक इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पर सबसे अधिक बल दे रही है.
Mr. Modi said the government of India believes in the mantra of development of the country through the development of the states. He said modern infrastructure does not only mean rail and road, but it also connects cities and villages by reducing distance between them. It promotes heritage as well as accelerates development. A Pakistani court has indicted former Prime Minister Imran Khan in the Toshakhana corruption case, who was arrested by paramilitary rangers from the Islamabad High Court premises on Tuesday. In August last year, the coalition government led by Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz, PMLN, had filed a case against Mr. Khan, claiming that he didn't disclose information on gifts presented to Toshakhana and the proceeds from the illegal sale of some of the gifts. The court also granted 8-day physical remand of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf PTI chairman Imran Khan to the National Accountability Bureau in the Al-Qadir Trust case. Violent protests against Mr. Khan's arrest have intensified in several cities in Pakistan, including Quetta, Karachi, Peshawar, Rawalpindi and Lahore. At least 5 people were killed and dozens were injured in violence that has aggravated instability in Pakistan as it grapples with a severe economic crisis. Imran Khan's supporters attacked and burned the official residence of Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif in Islamabad, as well as that of a top regional commander in Lahore. Protesters also smashed the main gate of the Pakistan Army's headquarters in the garrison city of Rawalpindi. Many countries have issued travel advisories to their citizens and diplomatic staff, citing political unrest in Pakistan. The U.S. Embassy has announced a travel alert for its citizens in Pakistan. The Canadian government asked its citizens and diplomatic staff to exercise a high degree of caution in Pakistan due to the unpredictable security situation. In today's Hotspot section, we bring you a news commentary on discussion on the unrest in Pakistan and its implications.
Pakistan appears to have descended further into a quagmire with the arrest on May the 9th and arraignment of former Prime Minister Imran Khan. His supporters and members of the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf party have taken to the streets in major cities across Pakistan even venting their ire on military establishments. Ambassador Raghavan, a commentator in the Dawn newspaper today, has said that reality becomes irrelevant because conspiracy and fears create their own dark reality. And he says that Pakistan is in the midst of multidimensional chaos, primarily because of the climate of fear which surrounds the major stakeholders. How accurate is this statement?
Well, this crisis has been brewing in Pakistan for some time now. And former Prime Minister Imran Khan's arrest is only the latest phase of this long crisis. The crisis has different dimensions, but certainly one very important dimension is the political conflict which is taking place in Pakistan. And the roots of that conflict really go back quite deep into Pakistan's history, have to do with the nature of the civil-military structure which exists in that polity. Imran Khan lost power about a year ago, primarily because his relationship with the military disintegrated. And he suddenly found that arrayed against him were the former opposition, which he had marginalized in the same way, using the military as his ally, as what is being done to him today. So this is a crisis of different political parties in Pakistan trying to cement a relationship with the Pakistan military to settle scores with their political opponents. And which is why it appears so intense and so complicated, because it is not clear in what way and through what modality this crisis can be resolved.
It is somewhat ironic that Mr. Imran Khan, who initially came to power on the back of the armed forces, is today himself its major opponent. It appears to be the army seems to be his most immediate target, going by what happened with his supporters. Yesterday, they even targeted the corps commander's residence in various cantonment towns. Now, given the fact the army, all said and done, is still primary major force to end with in politics in Pakistan, is it likely they will be able to arrive at some kind of a working via media between the armed forces and the political establishment at this point, with this kind of people out on the streets?
It does not appear that any sustainable way out can be found. What usually happens in Pakistan is that some kind of a solution is improvised. That solution is improvised in an arbitrary manner. We must remember that civil-military conflict in Pakistan is endemic. And it is true that relations between Imran Khan and the military broke down last year, which led to his removal from power. Similar situations have recurred in the past also, and they led to removals of other primes, including Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif. And each time there was a crisis, and it was resolved by some arbitrary improvisation, such as people being jailed or removed from political life or being sent into exile. Perhaps we will see some kind of an improvisation of a similar nature this time around also, because what is very clear is that Imran Khan does not appear to have any confidence left with the military establishment, and it will do what it can to make sure that he does not in any way come back to power. This situation is made complex by the fact that he is enormously popular at the street level, and in case there was an election in the near future, as there is scheduled to be, he will certainly get a very strong positive response to voters. So what we are probably going to end up with is some kind of an improvised solution whereby he is either sent into exile or he is removed from political life for a certain period of time, as was the case with Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif and the late Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto. But there is no easy solution to the civil-military conflict in Pakistan.
Because at this point, it appears that one of the attempts being made is to remove Mr. Imran Khan from political authority. I mean, there's talk, I think people have filed cases to try and remove him as chief of the PTI party. Now, some kind of an effort is already afoot to try and marginalize him politically to the extent possible. Given his popular support, I don't know whether that works or not. Do you think that this might lead to some kind of a primacy of the constitution and the political the legislature gaining some kind of an upper hand again over the military establishment? Is that a possibility?
I don't see the possibilities of that. We must remember that however outraged Prime Minister Imran Khan's supporters may sound, what is being done to him is no different from what he did to former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif. And so while all the political parties project their positions as being based on principle and on constitutional ground, in fact, these are very narrow political ends which are being pursued, and they realize that success depends greatly on the kind of relationship they have with the military establishment. So I don't see a eureka moment for Pakistan whereby we will suddenly find out of this crisis legislative supremacy emerging. As I said, I think we will have some kind of an improvised solution, however arbitrary it may sound or be. What is making the situation so much more serious right now is Pakistan's serious economic crisis and economic difficulties, because this extent of political conflict certainly is going to compound Pakistan's economic situation and make it far worse.
One is that Imran Khan's popularity primarily sort of stemmed from the fact that he accused everyone else of being corrupt and, tried to put everyone in jail or whatever for their corruption. Now, of the 100-odd cases against him at this point, and the one under which he was arrested yesterday is actually to do with corruption and almost directly indicting him. So how does he retain his popularity under these circumstances is what I don't quite understand, given how bad the economy is.
Well, Imran Khan, through his core constituency, presents a new kind of politics which is non-dynastic and which is non-feudal. I think that is his primary strength. Along with that, he has a certain charismatic appeal because the fact of his being a sports icon for Pakistan in cricket and the fact that he has used his iconic status for a social and public cause, which was building a cancer hospital. So all of this marks him out as being a different kind of political figure, and that is how he appears to his core constituency. Whether he's that in reality is of course a different matter, but in politics appearances matter more than reality sometimes. And certainly his support has not decreased, notwithstanding the major accusations, the major allegations, and some of the allegations appear to be well-founded of corruption and malpractice against him during his time as Prime Minister.
Given the state of Pakistan's serious economic crisis, the fact that they're in danger of even defaulting and so on, and clearly this political situation can't be good, and this political uncertainty will further deter any kinds of possible donors. But why is Pakistan's sort of fast friend China staying so quiet in this whole process? They need to have a stable Pakistan. They need to have a Pakistan that's not so dysfunctional. Why is China choosing to be so non-committal on Pakistan?
To my mind, primarily because this is a purely domestic crisis and a purely domestic churn in Pakistan. There is no way any external power can influence it. And possibly the Chinese realize that they have no real capacity to do much in these circumstances. We must remember Pakistan is a country of over 200 million people. It's the fifth or sixth largest country in the world. It is not a small economy which someone can bail out quickly. The extent of its economic crisis requires huge commitment, and no external player prepared to undertake those commitments for various reasons, but also because they don't see any clear political picture emerging in Pakistan. So they don't want to end up being in a position where they have made an open-ended commitment, because that would be a heavy drain on any country. And certainly I think the Chinese, along with other friends of traditional sailors out of Pakistan, realize that this is an internal issue and their ability or their capacity to do much is very limited.
Thank you so very much, Ambassador Raghavan, for all of your insights.
Thank you.
India is planning to undertake another evacuation flight in the near future for stranded Indians in conflict-hit Sudan region. Indian Embassy in Sudan in a series of tweets said that it would release a short notice for evacuation, hence staging forward to Port Sudan would facilitate an easy access to evacuation flight. It requested all Indians in Sudan who are willing for evacuation to reach Port Sudan by tomorrow. The embassy said it operated the last flight to India from Port Sudan on the 4th of this month. Prime Minister Narendra Modi met Foreign Minister of Israel Eli Cohen in New Delhi on Tuesday. Prime Minister Modi said in a tweet they discussed ways to further deepen bilateral cooperation in priority areas of agriculture, water, innovation and people-to-people ties. Mr. Cohen had also said in a tweet earlier that they discussed strengthening the strategic relations between the countries, expanding the Abraham Accords and promoting a free trade agreement that will boost Israel's economy. He said India is a world power, the fifth largest economy and the most populous country in the world. This is Akashwani giving you the world news. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will embark on a visit to the United States of America next month following an invitation from President Joseph Biden and First Lady Jill Biden. During the visit, Mr. Modi will attend a state dinner on 22nd June. The visit will underscore the growing importance of the strategic partnership between India and the US as the two nations collaborate across numerous sectors. The leaders will have the opportunity to review strong bilateral cooperation in various areas of mutual trust, including technology, trade, industry, education, research, clean energy, defense, security, healthcare and deepening people-to-people connections. India and Canada have agreed to explore enhanced cooperation through measures such as coordinated investment promotion, information exchange and mutual support in the near future through a memorandum of understanding. Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal, along with his Canadian counterpart Mary Negg, co-chaired the 6th India-Canada Ministerial Dialogue on Trade and Investment on the 8th of May in Ottawa. The ministers reviewed the progress achieved in the India-Canada Free Trade Agreement negotiations in the 7 rounds of negotiations so far. Speaking on the occasion, Mr. Goyal said India is a safer place to live in. Ms. Mary Negg expressed Canada's support for India as G20 chair and the priorities pursued by India in the G20 Trade and Investment Working Group. She indicated that she is looking forward to participating in the upcoming G20 Trade and Investment Ministerial meeting in India scheduled to take place in August. Former U.S. President Donald Trump has been for the first time found liable for sexual abuse against magazine columnist E. Jean Carroll. After a civil trial that lasted 2 weeks and under 3 hours of deliberation, the jury found Mr. Trump not liable for rape but liable for sexual abuse and defamation. The jury ordered him to pay Ms. Carroll $5 million in compensatory damages. During the trial, she testified that Donald Trump had sexually assaulted her in a Bergdorf Goodman dressing room in Manhattan in either 1995 or 1996. The trial started on April 25 and Trump was not present for the entire time. The Association of Southeast Asian Nations ASEAN leaders have called for an immediate end to all forms of violence and the use of force in Myanmar. Expressing deep concern about the ongoing violence in Myanmar, the ASEAN leaders in a statement issued during the summit meeting in Labuan Bajo, Indonesia, urged to create a conducive environment for the safe and timely delivery of humanitarian assistance and inclusive national dialogues. The ASEAN expressed its support to the 8th May statement of the President of Indonesia, Joko Widodo, as the chair of ASEAN in response to the recent attack on a convoy of AHS Center and the ASEAN monitoring team in Myanmar. Condemning the attack, it stressed that perpetrators must be held accountable. The ASEAN leaders extended support for continued engagement with all stakeholders in Myanmar. It sought to encourage progress in the implementation of the 5-point consensus. The 5-point consensus reached between ASEAN and Myanmar military government chief Ming Wan Liang in April 2021 called for an end to all violence. In Nepal, police arrested former Home Minister in Nepal and Nepali Congress leader Balkrishna Khand in connection with the fake Bhutanese refugee scam. A team of Kathmandu police circle arrested Khand from his residence in Manjubahal for his alleged involvement in the scam, where many Nepalese were swindled out of millions of rupees in return for sending them to the United States as Bhutanese refugees. The police also arrested Khand's personal aide Narendra Kesi in connection with the scam. In a virtual meeting of creditor nations co-chaired by Japan, France and India, Sri Lanka received positive response from 26 countries and 19 creditors regarding the coordination of loan restructuring efforts. The discussion centered around conforming to the debt rollover ceiling set by the International Monetary Fund IMF to ensure debt sustainability for Sri Lanka in the future. The Paris Club, known for its expertise in restructuring debt for defaulted nations, has been actively involved in the process, with India formally joining the group of Western lenders. Sri Lanka, which has faced monetary instability and forex shortages, accumulated a significant amount of international sovereign bonds and Chinese budget support loans over the past decade. As per report, Sri Lankan government's external debt stood at over $36 billion by the end of 2022, with an additional $1.647 billion in sovereign guaranteed debt in state enterprises. With recent borrowings during periods of monetary instability, Sri Lanka's total external debt reached $41.47 billion. The involvement of multiple stakeholders in Sri Lanka's loan restructuring process is expected to contribute to a comprehensive and coordinated relief plan within the limits prescribed by the IMF's debt analysis. Around 66% voter turnout was recorded in the Karnataka Assembly polls on Wednesday. The Election Commission has said many voters were seen to be in queue at 6 p.m. in different parts of the state, and the final figure may go up. The voting was largely peaceful in all 224 assembly constituencies, and no repoll has been indicated in any of the polling stations in the state so far. By-polls were also held in Jalandhar Lok Sabha seat in Punjab, Jharsuguda Assembly seat in Odisha, Chanbe and Suar Assembly seats in UP. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate a first-of-its-kind comprehensive three-day International Museum Expo 2023 on the 18th of this month at Pragati Maidan in New Delhi. This initiative has been undertaken to commemorate and celebrate the 47th International Museum Day as part of the second phase of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. The expo aims at facilitating a holistic conversation and showcases the diverse cultural heritage exhibited by various museums across the country. This was informed by Culture Minister G. Krishan Reddy in a press conference in New Delhi. He said several museum experts, curators and professionals from foreign countries are also expected to participate in the expo to exchange ideas and insights and promote cross-cultural learning and understanding in museum management. The minister said that cultural ministers of state governments and other officials will also attend the event.
इसमें पहली बार न्यू टेक्नोलॉजी, न्यू इनिशिएटिव्स, न्यू म्यूजियम्स कैसा भारत सरकार के द्वारा हो, प्राइवेट इंस्टीट्यूशन के द्वारा हो, कैसा म्यूजियम के लिए डेवलपमेंट के लिए सब मिलकर काम करें। इसमें नॉट ओनली इंडिया, अलग अलग कंट्रीज से भी जो प्रोफेशनल्स, म्यूजियम प्रोफेशनल्स हो, एक्सपर्ट्स हो, क्यूरेटर्स हो, ऐसा अलग अलग कंट्रीज से भी पार्टिसिपेट करेंगे। भारत में भी सभी कल्चर मिनिस्टर्स, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के कल्चर मिनिस्टर्स को भी इन्वाइट किया गया। वैसा ही गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया का कुछ मिनिस्ट्रीज का सीनियर ऑफिसर्स को भी इन्वाइट किया है।
The deep depression over southeast Bay of Bengal has moved north-northwestwards with a speed of 12 kilometers per hour during the past 6 hours and lies centered at the same region about 520 kilometers southwest of Port Blair. The India Meteorological Department said that it is very likely to move north-northwestwards and intensify gradually into a cyclonic storm over the same region by tonight. Then continuing to move north-northwestwards, it will gradually intensify further into a severe cyclonic storm by Thursday morning and very severe cyclonic storm by midnight over southeast and adjoining central Bay of Bengal. It is likely to recurve gradually, move north-northwestwards from Friday morning. The Met Department added that it is likely to weaken slightly from Saturday evening and cross southeast Bangladesh and North Myanmar around forenoon of Sunday, with maximum sustained wind speed of 110 to 120 kilometers per hour, gusting to 130 kilometers per hour. The key domestic indices today logged marginal gains. The BSE Sensex closed above 61,900 points, while the NSE Nifty settled above 18,300 level. Both indices rose even as negative cues from global share markets. A report from the business desk.
The Sensex rose 179 points to finish at 61,940. The Nifty at the National Stock Exchange added 49 points to end at 18,315. In global stock markets, Asian markets logged losses. Singapore's Straits Times Index ended flat. China's Shanghai Composite Index declined 1.2%. Hong Kong's Hang Seng and South Korea's Kospi indices both fell 0.5% each. Japan's Nikkei 225 slipped 0.4%. European markets were also down marginally in intraday trade. Oil prices fell around 1%, ending a three-day rally as an unexpected rise in U.S. oil inventories sparked demand concerns. Investors are also awaiting inflation data for cues on U.S. interest rates. In intraday trade, Brent crude was trading at $77.20 per barrel. Back home, gold prices at multi-commodity exchange for June contracts was trading at around 61,590 rupees per 10 gram. On the other hand, silver was trading flat at 78,020 rupees per kilogram for July contracts, and in the forex market, the rupee closed at 82 rupees against the US dollar. Anubha Rohatgi for World News, All India Radio.
In IPL cricket, chasing a target of 168 runs set by Chennai Super Kings, Delhi Capitals were 100 for 5 in 16.3 overs at the M.A. Chidambaram Stadium in Chennai when reports last came in. Opting to bat first, Chennai Super Kings scored 167 for 8 wickets in the stipulated 20 overs. Last night, Mumbai Indians defeated Royal Challengers Bangalore by 6 wickets at the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai. Indian boxers have ensured 3 medals at the World Boxing Championships for the first time as they advanced to the semi-finals in Tashkent today. India created history when Deepak Bhoria in the 51 kg, Mohammad Husamuddin in the 57 kg and Nishant Dev in the 71 kg emerged victorious in their respective quarter-final bouts. This is for the first time that the Indian men's boxers will bring home 3 medals from a world championship. In the first quarter-final today, Deepak defeated Dushebev Nurgihit of Kyrgyzstan by a 5-0 unanimous decision to storm into the semis. Two-time Commonwealth Games bronze medalist Husamuddin fought hard for a 4-3 split decision win in a close fight against Diaz Ibanez of Bulgaria. In the other game of the day, Nishant Dev defeated George Cuella of Cuba by a 5-0 unanimous decision. All 3 boxers will be playing their semi-final games on Friday. Now let us take a look at the major developments around the world as reported in the foreign press. Washington Post writes, inflation eased again in April, but prices are still rising fast. In Japan Times reports, banking crisis concerns loom over G7 finance ministers meeting. The Wall Street Journal reports Congressman George Santos indicted on federal fraud charges. The Wall Street Journal writes the Trump Lawson sexual abuse case casts another legal cloud over 2024 bid. The Guardian reports militants in Gaza fire at least 60 rockets into Israel in response to airstrikes. The Globe and Mail writes thousands of foreign-trained nurses can now practice in Canada as provinces change licensing rules. A quick look at the headlines once again. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi launches development works worth over 5,000 crore rupees in Rajasthan. Pakistani court indicts former Prime Minister Imran Khan in Tosha Khana corruption case, also grants his 8-day physical remand to the National Accountability Bureau in the Al-Qaeda Trust case. New Delhi planning to undertake another evacuation flight in the near future for stranded Indians in conflict-hit Sudan region. ASEAN leaders call for immediate end to all forms of violence and the use of force in Myanmar. Deep depression forms over Southeast Bay of Bengal, likely to intensify into a severe cyclonic storm by Thursday morning. And at the World Boxing Championships, Indian boxers Deepak Bhoria, Mohammad Husamuddin and Nishant Dev enter semi-finals in Tashkent, ensured of 3 medals for the first time ever. And now before we end, let us listen to Mahatma Gandhi's favorite bhajan, Vaishnava Jan, by artists from Canada.
Vaishnava Jan to ene kae je peed paraye jane para dukhe upakar kare doi mana bimana परलोकमा सहुनै बन्दे निन्दा नखाए निरे.
And with that, we end this bulletin. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow with the next edition of the World News.